After weather delays, we finally made it back to the country's Manukau Off-Road Racing Club's track in Manukau for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix, featuring round one of the CT Civil Orange New Zealand Championship. A big crowd saw some of New Zealand's best take on the stadium off-road circuit. Among them, CT Civil's Lee Bishop in his Pro-Light truck.
Yep, yeah, CT Civil sponsoring ORANs this year for the National Series. CT Civil's a civil contracting company, and we just like the off-roading. We've been in it about 4 years now, and the off-roading's it's just so awesome. Different changing tracks. It races right across New Zealand, so we get to try a few different tracks out over the year. There's a really good bunch of people here, and it's a family-orientated sport. So you'll see the kids out there racing, you'll see everyone right through to old fellas like me out there still having a good time, you know? So it's a great sport to be in. So it's a Mason Motorsports chassis. It runs an LS3 in it, about 500 horsepower roughly, and two-wheel drive lock diff in the rear. We went out there this morning, had a good play, did a few skids in the mud and had some fun, and it's awesome, yeah. Good bunch of guys in the class too, so we all help each other out.
If past results are anything to go by, and they are, everyone will be chasing this goal.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been out on the track, been about 9 months. We had to rebuild the engine. Fortunately, it wasn't a massive mission, but you know, good things take time, and you know, we're happy to be back out, and I'm going to have a crack at the National Series this year if I can, and see how we go.
Making their first appearance at the Manukau circuit, Team Trundle, led by Chris Trundle.
Yeah, I'm Chris Trundle. We operate Trundles, which is the biggest independent four-drive suspension company in New Zealand. And this was originally a Class 6, which is a road legal truck, and obviously they've got rid of that class and amalgamated it to Class 8. So we've ditched the windscreen. It's still over 2 tonne, 200 horse down on all the other Class 8s, but pushrod forklift motor, 46 horse stock. So hopefully we can make people regret the meaning of life or something like that. But no, we're just here to learn the track and have a bit of fun anyway with some friends. And you know, the kids are a bit older now, so we're getting back into motorsport. Yeah, we're just doing it for a bit of fun and nothing too stressful, you know, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it gets and stays relatively wet, because the four-wheel drive's quite good in that aspect, whereas when it dries out, obviously the power comes into play, so yeah, it should be a bit of fun. It is not that stock. It's got an Albin's ST6 sequential gearbox. We've cut the chassis in half and made a Pro-Light rear end fit into it, and yeah, it's definitely can be fairly competitive on courses that we're familiar with, but obviously we've got that aspect of learning the track up here, so we're going to have to work pretty hard for it, yeah.
Another newcomer to the stadium track in Auckland was Palmerston North's Peter Gordon.
I'm Peter Gordon from Palmerston North, from the Palmerston North Off-Road Club. My first time up here, going to go and have some fun.
It looks like the track's built for fun, although it looks like it's had a pretty tough life.
Yeah, she's had a hard life. I got it last year, April, May, and I've done a few meetings in it. Been up to Stratford a couple of times, and yeah, absolutely loving it. Been watching you guys on the YouTube, so yeah, sort of studying the track a little bit. I mean, I'm a bit underpowered to everyone else, so we're just going out there to compete for myself, so yeah, going to just go and have some fun more than anything. Just want to get in the truck and race. Yep. I don't care where I am, what I'm doing. I just want to have some fun and just get out there, you know. You buy something, you want to use it, so yeah, I'm going to do as much as I can this year. Like, I only did a few events last year because I was new to the sport. Now it's full season, I'm going to give it a shot.
The first time Lincoln Wedette drove here was in a modified Kiwi truck. Now he was back in Dad's Hot Wheels sponsored Mazda Rumble.
Link, you said you hadn't driven the truck for quite a while, probably since the last time you were here, so once again it's a bit of a learning curve for you.
Yeah, so last time I drove this we were doing a Chevy film shoot, which was in like March last year, so, and then before that was this round last year, so I've driven it once since the last round, but yeah, it's always fun in this truck, so looking forward to it. Looks like it's good weather, track's looking pretty decent, so yeah. started racing in Kiwi trucks when I was like 6 years old, but always been involved with motorsport with Dad, obviously, giving me the opportunities to be here and steal his truck. But yeah, just really happy to be here.
And Dad on the tools?
Yeah, he's on the tools today. He's actually got no truck, so he's actually putting the tear-offs on my helmet right now. But yeah.
That must be pretty special.
He said he found a job. Yeah, it's definitely cool, especially with someone like him being able to crew chief for me. It's definitely a lot of help. It's cool.
Mike, are you a bit of a nervous dad?
I'm a nervous dad. Oh, mate, honestly, I'm more nervous when Link's lining up on the start line than I am lining up for a world championship. But it's at least I found a job for today. Link's officially taken my truck now. So last time we were out here, I ran the Millen truck. That's now gone under the knife at the Mad Lab, so we're changing a few things on that. And yeah, pretty stoked. Link won this event last year, first time in the truck. So yeah, got some work to do. Put some tear-offs on, keep them stacked, and hopefully we have nothing too mechanical to go wrong with a little rotary. We pack a punch. There's some big dogs out there in Class 8. Got Richard Crabby, one to look for. You know, I was in the Pro 4 full Greaves truck out of the States. You know, 900 horsepower four-wheel drive. This thing's 280 horsepower rear-wheel drive, but Link's got the Toyos, power to weight. This thing, he's proven it can win. So yeah, we'll see. Have some fun out there.
So this is the first race of the day, and it is the Pro Lights and the Pro 2s. 5 laps in each of the heats, and the Mickey Thompson pace truck comes off the circuit as we get set to turn them loose. Now the one to watch for is the man that will start on the inside as we work our way into turn number 1, and that is Nick Hall. Going with him is Ash Carlisle, and right in behind him would be Bruce McEwen. So these three have started to clear away just a little bit. Then we go back to Sean Dickens in the Nick Leahy car, and also in there as well is Chris Trundle's there in the Nissan Diesel. So the drill force truck of Bruce McEwen starting to make a bit of a move as they work their way into the switchbacks, the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks, and out onto the Salem tyres. Back straight they come. So it is Nick Hall leading, and already he's got quite a substantial lead as he works his way back towards the Vertex pit jump. And out onto the front straight he goes once again. He said he's been rebuilding this truck. He's been the man to beat in the Pro Lights for as long as we've been coming here to Manukau, and he's proved it here at the moment. So it is McEwen through in second, the drill well truck, and then it's Ash Carlisle trying to get down the inside of him, and the drill force truck slowing right down and nearly stopping, and that's impeded Ash Carlisle. And is he going to lose a spot? I don't know that he does, because in behind him is Trundles, and then we go back to Sean Dickens in the Nick Leahy car. Now Dickens and Leahy were fierce competitors when they first started in off-roading. Oh, and Link Widett nearly spinning rumble as they work their way through the hairpin and down into the switchbacks once again. They're on board here with Ash Carlisle. Right in behind him, it is Link Widett, fast making a name for himself to match his famous father in Mike. 280 brake horsepower from the little Mazda-powered pickup, sitting in third place at the moment. Out in the front, remember, it is Nick Hall. He just got a glimpse there of Lee Bishop. In behind him, it would have been Peter Gordon by the look of it. We go back to this battle for second and third. There's Ash Carlisle. Already disappearing off into the distance is Nick Hall, just past half distance. A bit of a rough landing there for the truck of Ash Carlisle. And meantime, with every beat of the engine, or every rotation of the engine, Link Widett gets a little bit closer. Bruce McEwen stranded right in the apex of turn number 1. Things getting a little bit closer here for the miners. Ash Carlisle trying to hold out Link Widett at the moment, and doing a pretty good job. Back on board here with Carlisle. Look at the way they're searching for different lines as they work their way through the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks once again. So Ash Carlisle, as we look into the face of him, all concentration, got a little bit of an advantage now on Widett through in third place. Remember, race leader, clearing out with every beat of the engine. This is Carlisle, and he's got a problem too. He's just drifted in the soft up and clipped the concrete, and clipped it pretty hard too. So Ash Carlisle, I think he's probably got some steering damage there, and he isn't going any further. That means this guy is promoted up into second place now, and that is Link We're dead. There is Lee Bishop, sponsor of the CT Civil Orange National Championship. Just got a glimpse there of Sean Dickens. This is the race leader, though, heading back into the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. They're on board here with Hall, looking out the front of his Prologue truck. Vertex Lubricants are the sponsor. Nick's father, Kevin, is one of the movers and shakers of the country's Manukau Offroad Racing Club as the yellow flags fly for the stricken Ash Carlisle. So 5 laps for the heats. They'll get to do 3 of those before they line up for the feature event. Yellow flags, a full course yellow now, as you saw from the flag stand. And the reason both for Bruce McEwen and also Ash Carlisle, so both parts of the circuit are temporarily blocked as you ride here with Nick Hall working his way through the hairpin, the Dunlop hairpin. This is Link Widett in Rumble. This truck started life as a rotary engine powered pickup, a Repu as Mazda called them. But now it's Rumble, back on board here with Nick Hall. Working his way through the heavy going. The water truck's been out before this race, so off the racing line, it is quite puggy, quite messy.
And there he goes around the outside. Can he make it?
So Hall well on his way. No passing involved. Checkered flag comes out under the full course yellow, and Nick Hall gets the win. Second place in the Thunder trucks will be Lee Bishop, and in third place will be Sean Dickens. In the sports trucks, Peter Gordon gets the win, and exhibition class goes to Lincoln Widett. Plenty more off-road racing to come right here after the break. Welcome back to the Mickey Thompson Tyres New Zealand Off-Road Grand Prix, incorporating the CT Civil Orange National Championship. One man that has raced all around the world in all types of machinery, but got his start in off-roading, Damon Templeman.
Yeah, we're going to be doing most of the championship this year. The unfortunate thing is I actually broke my finger on Tuesday, so it's making the car a little bit difficult to drive today, so we're just going to try and circulate, maybe not get so, we'll try our best to try and win, but we're just going to circulate and try and get some points, and then let my finger heal and roll on to the next couple of rounds, which is I think we got one at Taranaki, and then we've got Woodhull again, and then a round that I actually haven't done, which is a Nelson, which is a big enduro round in the forest, which I'm actually pretty excited to go and do. So nothing's really changed with the car this year. We've just washed it, maintained it, got it prepped and ready to rock.
If Templeman was to gain the lion's share of the points in the round, he would surely have to beat this guy, Tony McCall.
So I'm driving the car for a guy called Cody Harder. He's got a trucking business, so he's supported me all last season. So we're just running the car this year for him. He's too busy with his modified, so he's letting me race the car. So it's a good deal. If I wreck it, I've got to fix it, of course. So, but no, we're doing okay. But it's not the end of the day yet.
Racing in the competitive Class 3, the NZ Pro Buggies, was another from Team Trundle's, Jared Nagel.
I've had this car almost 2 years now. This is my second time doing this national series. Going to try and do the full season this year. I didn't quite manage to do it last year, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
What's special about here, about the stadium? Because it's not the only sort of stadium track, but it's probably the biggest and most well sorted out.
I do like the layout. I've been up here a couple of times now. I really do enjoy this track. I don't got the fastest car, but I do manage to beat these guys when they make mistakes and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, I guess the main thing is just don't spin out, hold your position. If you can move up a few, that's the way to go, I reckon.
So it is another split grid start for the Pro 1s and the Pro Buggies. Pro Buggies off first, and keep an eye on Jared Nagel, 368. That's him just clipping the concrete as they work their way through turn number 1. That is the Mickey Thompson turn. You're on board here with Tony McCall. Now he's got a little bit of work to do, and chasing him all the way is Damon Templeman. Damon Templeman's car originally started life as a desert racer in Australia. That's why it's slightly longer than the other Class 1s. On board there with Templeman. Meantime, Andrew Green out in the front. There is Nagel through in second place as they work their way through the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. On board here with Nagel. See the elaborate tear-off system on his helmet. That's controlled from a button on the dashboard. Electronically moves the clear lens across the helmet as the Class 1s round up the slower Class 3 cars, as you would expect. Class 3 or the Pro Buggies, limited to 1650 cc's. Unlimited modifications allowed to be done to those engines. 313 John Instone there, leading the bunch through. Here comes McCall and Templeman though, trying to thread the needle as they get just a little bit closer. In fact, maybe a little bit of contact there between Ryan Magnus and Tony McCall. McCall now gets into the front. Danum Templeman follows him. They're on board looking into the face of the man that started his motorsport career in off-road racing, and that is Danum Templeman. Went on to race circuits, Formula Fords, all sorts of other types of racing, and then of course drifting as well. These days a lot of his time taken up by judging the drifting competitions, but he still loves his off-roading. He's a three-time winner of the Woodhill 100 is Danum Templeman. The man in front of him's won it way more times than that. Tony McCall, you ride with him here in the Mickey Thompson BSL Chevy powered 700 horsepower Pro 1 car. Pro 1 brought to you by Salem Tyres, the Pro Buggies by NZ. Still rounding up the quick boys from the Buggies. And that was the 390 of Brian McGuinness. Back on board with Templeman, currently sitting in second place behind Tony McCall at the moment. This is a championship. It's brought to you by CT Civil, so it's all about gathering the points. Picking up the maximum points at the moment in the Pro 1 class is this man, Tony McCall. But a fine rearguard action from Damon Templeman. Don Atwood would be third, and then it would be Arnie Jones in the Baja Bug in the Pro 1 class. And in the Pro 2s, it would be the 390 of Ryan McGuinness, and then probably Jared Nagel. We take the Dunlop Chase drone as we watch the progress as coming through onto the front straight is Tony McCall. High-flying McCall. Not only is he one of the best off-road racers in the country, but he's one of the best off-road promoters, because in association with the Counties Manukau Off-Road Racing Club, and Phil Hagan and Tony McCall help promote these events here, including the Mickey Thompson Tyres and Wheels Stadium Off-Road Grand Prix. Back on board with a man in second place. It's a family sport, is off-roading. Danum and his dad Dave racing today. Dave in the UTVs. You see him out a little bit later on, but right now he'll be encouraging his boy to hold on to that second spot. Remains to be seen as the laps wind down whether he's going to pick up the flying Tony McCall. We're back on board here with McCall. Another one that's been around the motor racing scene for a long, long time. Flirted with sprint car racing for a couple of seasons or more, and then got into this off-roading thing. And this beast has been very, very successful. Over 12 times he has been crowned a national champion. Here's Tony McCall. We're on board here with Templeman, sitting in second place overall and second place in the Salem Tyres Pro 1s. Into the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks goes Tony McCall, and down the Salem Tyres back straight now. Just getting a little bit untidy, see, getting very, very sideways. And if anything, it looks like Danum Templeman may be starting to pick him up a little bit in the 193. Back on board here with McCall. At the back of the shot, you see Templeman. Is he going to run out of laps? I think he might be. Up over the pit straight jump, they come once again. And checkered flag out for Tony McCall, so he gets the perfect start in the Pro 1 class. He wins it. In second place, it will be Danum Templeman, and in third place, it'll be the 178 of Don Atwood. Fourth place would have been the Baja Bug of Arnie Jones, and in the Pro Buggies, it was number 341, Andrew Green from Jared Nagel. Something pretty special for you after the break from Manukau. A new innovation at the Mickey Thompson Tyres and Wheels Off-Road Grand Prix was the Mount Shop Dunlop Rally Sprint, where rally cars took to the stadium track in a time trial format. There are a wide variety of machinery, including the Cunningham Skoda, a V8 powered Escort, and this car, a fan favourite, the Audi Quattro of Steve Cox.
Steve, tell us why Manukau, why an off-road track, why the Audi, and why you're here this weekend.
To be truthful, I don't really know. Look, we came out and did a test day out here a couple 3 months ago, and while it's probably not the most suited for our car, it's nice to get it in front of the people, and that's been the thing with this car. It was built for people to enjoy what was done in the 80s and have this car out there with a bit of width on the road. Well, normally with rallying we don't get that. We get a road that's got trees either side of us or big drops or whatever, and so to be able to actually spend some time throwing a car around really a lot more is quite valuable, I think. This is a tribute to the late 80s Audi Quattro Sport Evolution. So this is a car we actually never saw in New Zealand. They banned Group B as this car came out. So it's a Group B car from the late 80s. This is a tribute because people build replicas of these. It's probably the most replicated car there is in world rallying. But to build a replica in this part of the world is very difficult. So we built it with an AP4 platform under it, which is the same as what runs in the National Rally Championship things. But then that's only the suspension. The rest of it is Audi engine and gearbox and diff. Audi, well, custom axles sort of thing, but it's built really as a custom car to look what they look like in the day, to sound like what they look like what they were in the day, and go really well.
From a blast from the past to modern day machinery, like Clinton Cunningham's Skoda Fabia.
I think it's just something that's going to be pretty exciting and something different, and get to display the cars and anger in a different crowd. I think it's cool.
Have you had a chance to have a look at the track?
Nah, nothing at all. Nothing. Oh, I walked up on the hill and had a look down. That's about it. And which looks totally different to what I saw on YouTube. Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. I think just respect it at the start and get to know it. And then the other thing too is the conditions are totally foreign to what we're used to. You know, being on dirt, and I see it's really wet, and they're talking about the track drying out and things like that to get better grip. So it'll just be a bit of feeling our way through, I think.
Tony Brown had his V8 Escort in action, but unfortunately would record a DNF. The same for the Mazda-powered BMW four-wheel drive of Bevan Wilson. First two-wheel drive went to Chris Alexander in his 60s Mark I Ford Cortina. Third overall with the time for the 5-lap block in the Mount Shop Dunlop Tyres Rally Sprint was Steve Cox in 5:03.75. In second place, the Ford Lynx, Nick Marshall, 4:57.94. And the winner of the first Mount Shop Dunlop Tyres Rally Sprint with a time of 4:53.64 was Clinton Cunningham in the Skoda Fabia. Big thank you to Marty Rostenberg and the team from the North Island Rally Series. Right, this is the Challenger and light buggies, and it's the Challengers away first, and that is Dave Maggs and Serena Patterson. And following them will be the light buggies, brought to you by Vertex Lubricants. There they are, queuing up in the background, just to see how long it takes them to get past the Challengers. So at the moment it is Serena Patterson leading Dave Maggs, and already the light buggy starting to get just a little bit closer, and it won't take too long before these guys will be all over the guy and girl at the front of the field. So the Challengers lead as they head down into the Carlton Party switchbacks for the first of 5 times. Remember, each of the heats 5 laps. These are the cross carts. Now they're starting at the very back. This is Ollie Ward in the front, and in behind him is Richard Yallop. Now these little cross carts, European manufactured, CMOG. We go back to the Class 5s, the light buggies, and it would be Aaron Hogg Medlock out in the front by the look of it. Already they've overtaken the 2 Challengers. So these look very, very sophisticated indeed, and so do these little cross carts. They're powered by 750cc Suzuki GSX engines, 4-cylinder inline engines, 6-speed sequential gearbox. They run a controlled suspension system, and they are very, very fast. In fact, in the hands of someone that can really drive one, like Ollie Ward or his father Jeff, who is now, I believe, the distributors of these amazing little carts in New Zealand, they are quick. And they are super, super reliable, and they're super stable, although they don't look it around the stadium course here at Manukau. There is Richard Yellop trying to catch Ollie Ward at the moment. Hayden Padden originally brought these cars into the country. And speaking of Hayden, I saw Matt Penrose come within seconds of Hayden Padden in one of these. Padden was in his electronic Hyundai Kona. That was at the Mount Shop Hill Climb in Waimati. But Penrose was nipping at his heels. That's how fast these little cars are. Want to know more about them, you can probably Google Crosskart New Zealand as we take the Dunlop chase drone as they work their way towards the Salem tyres back straight, rounding up some of the slower cars. And I tell you what, these things are that fast, I don't think they'd be outclassed in the Pro One buggy races. So there is Ollie Ward, and there is Richard Yellop. They run a controlled tyre as well. Yellop's starting to get a little bit closer as we take the action from high above the action with the chase drone, working their way through the Dunlop hairpin. Still Ward in the front, Yellop in second place. This is a little bit of a suck it and see operation for the cross carts. There's a lot more than 2 of them available if they get a pass mark, and so far you'd have to say they would. Still Ward from Yellop already starting to line up some of the slower light buggies. This is what's happening at the front of the field of the light buggies though. Still Aaron Hogg Bedlock from Brad Scott, first and second. In the challenges, still Serena Patterson from Dave Maggs. But there you see them in the background as they work their way onto the CT Civil start-finish line once again. Here are the cross carts. And if anything, these guys putting on a bit of a show for the big crowd, sweltering in the 30-degree temperatures we've got here at Manukau today. So Ward in the front, Yellop through in second, down through the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks they come once again. Race leader overall at the moment would be Aaron Hogg Medlock from Brad Scott. And as I said in the challenges, it's still Serena Patterson from Dave Maggs. Patterson in the C70 and Dave Maggs in the C01. Take the action from high above, courtesy of Dunlop, as we're on to the last lap now, and this is number 584, and this is Brad Scott, so he's got up into second place now. There is C01, this is Dave Maggs. He's fighting a bit of a rearguard action behind Serena Patterson, and here are the cross carts. So they started probably around about more than half a lap behind, and they're slowly, well not so much slowly, but certainly winding in the opposition. Through the Dunlop sweeper they go once again. We take the chase drone footage into the switchbacks. As I said, 750cc Suzuki motorcycle engines. The big drawback for the cross carts is they have no reverse gear, because when have you seen a motorbike with a reverse gear? But there's far more pros and cons with these amazing little cars, as you're seeing here at the moment, still monstering the challenges in front of them. What's the speed difference as they come out onto the Salem back straight and out towards the Vertex pit jump once again? This is the man currently in second place, so Aaron Hogg Medlock has gone across the line, and look at the speed difference from the cross carts as they wind up and head towards the finish line jump. So in the end, it looked like Ollie Ward might have to be second from Richard Yellop there. Meantime, in the light buggies, it was Aaron Hogg Medlock got the win from Brad Scott, and in the challenges, Serena Patterson overall from Dave Maggs. Race 2 for the Thunder Trucks, and this is the CT Civil truck of Lee Bishop leading them round. Mickey Thompson pace truck off the circuit as we set to turn them loose. There is Lee Bishop. Queuing up behind him is Sean Dickens in the Nick Leahy truck. Also Link Within, and coming from the back is Nick Hall. as they work their way up towards the NZ tabletop. And you can see a little bit of a glistening on the surface. That's because the water truck's just been round. And Lincoln Wedette's gone into the front now. Bishop goes back into second place. Nick Hall's the danger, though, as he goes round the outside of Sean Dickens. You're on board here with Lee Bishop, the man that is sponsoring the ORANS National Championships. This is round one as part of the Mickey Thompson Tyres and Wheels Off-Road Grand Prix Series, and that was Lincoln Wedette. Back on board here with Bishop. Nick Hall right in behind him, having passed Sean Dickens. Oh, and maybe a little bit of contact there from the Vertex truck. Coming through the Polaris sweeper and out onto the mount shot front straight is the race leader, and this is Link Wedette. You're on board here with Nick Hall looking out the back, so he's got round the outside of Lee Bishop as they go through the Polaris sweeper. Now heading into the Mickey Thompson sweeper at the top end of the racetrack. There is the Leahy Civil truck being driven today by Sean Dickens. As I mentioned before, Sean Dickens and Nick, great friends, but bitter rivals back in the early days of off-roading when they both had buggies. Lee Bishop right up onto, well, the cushion we'd call it in Speedway, up on the berm really you'd call it in motocross. Sean Dickens gets it a little bit wrong. There is Chris Trundles in the diesel-powered Nissan, now running under Class 8. As out in the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks, it's still Wedette from a fast closing Nick Hall. Well, Hall has been pretty near unbeatable when he's raced here at the Manukau Stadium off-road racing track before, and it is proving that way again. He's got a little bit more horsepower on board than Link Wedette. Link Wedette has a bit of a crushing landing over the jump there, and that allows Hall to get a little bit closer, and now he's right on his bumper and trying to carry the speed as he goes to the outside as they run over the NZ tabletop and into the Dunlop hairpin. Pressure really starting to come on. Link Wedette now inside, outside. Hall goes down the inside as they head for the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. They're on board here with Hall looking out the back of the truck. The Vertex Lubricant sponsored Prologue right in behind him. It's Link Wedette in Rumble. The Hot Wheels Toyo Tyres sponsored machine. Red Bull, of course, helping out Mad Mike. Mad Mike, a concerned, if not nervous, pit crew chief today. So this time round the Polaris sweeper, there's a little bit of daylight between Hall and Wedette. Remember, the heat races are 5 laps. It all garners your points to decide your starting position for the feature event. We've got 2 to go here at Manukau. There is Link Wedette, there is Nick Hall. Up over the NZ tabletop they come. Lee Bishop through in 3rd place. Taking the chase drone once again, courtesy of Dunlop. We zoom in on Link Wedette. But already making it round 180-degree left, and that is Nick Hall. We should say that we were going to have Richard Crabb in the Paul Hackett monster truck, but unfortunately they had clutch issues before the meeting started, so they've been a DNS. Good to see that truck out here again. Here is Hall around the Polaris sweeper and down the mount shot front straight once more. White flag out this time, is it? Yeah, 1 to go for Nick Hall. Well, it's going to take a disaster for him not to win this one as he slides the Vertex truck up to the NZ tabletop and into the Dunlop hairpin. We take the view from high above as he gets a little bit sideways. Then changes his lanes. The thing with this, the track changes each and every lap, and certainly when there's been some water put onto it, the ruts start to appear, and you'll see Nick Hall picking his way around those ruts and just keeping the momentum up into the switchbacks. He goes once again, nothing but clear track in front of him, and pretty near nothing but clear track behind him now. We can tell you though, it's still Link Wedette through in 2nd place. Looking at the back of the Nick Hall truck, and there's nobody behind him, so checkered flag will come out this time by, I would think, for Nick Hall. There it is, just ahead of them is Peter Gordon from Palmerston North. He's nearly a lap down. second comes out. Nick Hall gets the win. Lee Bishop takes second place. And in third place, it's Sean Dickens. In the sports trucks, Peter Gordon. And the exhibition truck, second overall, Lincoln Widett. Plenty more action to come from Manukau right after the break. Welcome back to the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Off-Road Grand Prix and the CT Civil Orange National Championship. Big crowd enjoying the action here as the sun continues to shine down as we zoom in on the Ultra 4 and Ultra 4 turbos. Now, this class of racing has revolutionised off-road racing in New Zealand. It's made it accessible to just about everybody. Once again, we see a split grid start. The Ultra 4s brought to you by Polaris, and the Ultra 4 turbos, the hot rods of the class. You see them here. That's brought to you by Kelsey Construction. The man to watch is the man in NZ number 1, the EH Motors sponsored Carl Reutemann. We're on board there with Aaron Rodgers. He will certainly keep Reutemann honest, I would think, as we go back on board with the winningest driver in UTV racing, and that is Reutemann. A little bit like Danum Templeman, he has tried every form of racing and he's excelled at just about all of it. Back on board here with Carl Reutemann. He'd be leading the Ultra 4 Turbo class now, but he's still got to round up some of the Polaris Ultra 4s, and the first one he's going to attack is the S18, and that is Cam Patton. So he's certainly got a horsepower advantage, has Carl Reutemann with the turbocharger on the Yamaha machine. On board here with Aaron Rodgers, currently sitting in second place in the Ultra 4 turbos. Reutemann having a devil's own job getting around Cam Patton as they work towards the CT Civil finish line. Over the Kelsey Construction jump they go. This time he decides to go around the outside as they work their way through the Mickey Thompson sweeper at the top end of the circuit. Back on board here with Rodgers. Reutemann finally will get the job done in the Dunlop sweeper, I think, as Patton just runs a little bit wide. So he is making his way further up the field now is the NZ number 1. Patton wants to argue about it though as they work their way into the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. Reutemann's got the racer lean on, you see, as we look into the face of the champ. He is the current New Zealand champion. He'd love to repeat that title, and he's got off to a pretty good start so far. NZ1, Carl Reutemann in the front of the Ultra 4 turbos, but in the front of the Ultra 4s, brought to you by Polaris, would be Neil Coots by the look of it. And then behind Neil Coots it would be the 72 of Scott Mitchell. Here is Rodgers working his way through the Mickey Thompson sweeper and up over the NZ tabletop. This is the battle that continues to wage. Cam Patton hasn't given this one up without a fight. Trying to stick to Carl Reutemann. So once again, they're in the switchbacks. They're heading towards the Salem back straight. And then it will be over the Vertex pit jump. We take the chase drone footage courtesy of Dunlop. Cam Patton just getting a little bit distanced by the more powerful car of Carl Reutemann. Reutemann goes up the inside of Alistair Purcell to take another spot. 2 laps to go. Now, can Reutemann get to the front? He's got a couple of cars to pass yet to do so. Over the tabletop he goes. You're back on board them as he comes down towards the Dunlop hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Down through the sequential gearbox he'll go. All concentration as he rounds up yet another one of the Polaris-sponsored Ultra 4s, and that was Scott Mitchell in the U70 by the look of it. Aaron Rodgers trying to do the same with the 43 of Alistair Purcell from the chase drone. Manages to get that job done as well. So has Reutemann got to the front? I don't know that he has just yet. We'll have a look very shortly as over the Vertex pit jump we chase Aaron Rodgers, courtesy of Dunlop and the chase drone. Over the Kelsey Construction jump they go once again. So Carl Reutemann sitting in second place at the moment. There is Cam Patton, there is Aaron Rodgers, and there is the 43 of Alistair Purcell. Meantime, out in the front it is Neil Coots. We concentrate on this battle there. Aaron Rodgers is getting a little bit sideways, and that allows Patton to get away just a little. Meantime, out in the front, Coots continues to lead it. This little battle continues through the Dunlop. Hairpin they go, and into the switchbacks once again. Rodgers tries to drive down the inside this time and might have made the pass stick. We'll see very, very shortly if he's got around Patton this time round. This is the man in second place. This is the U72 of Scott Mitchell. Right in behind him, it would be Carl Reutemann. Checkered flag comes out, and this is the battle for second and third, because already under the checkered flag is Neil Coots. So Carl Reutemann goes from the back of the field to second. He picks the pocket of Scott Mitchell right on the finish line. And that's the way the officials will see it as well. Reutemann wins the Ultra 4 Turbo. Meantime, Neil Coots streets them in Ultra 4. So this is heat number 3 for the Ultra 4s and the Ultra 4 Turbos. Ultra 4 Turbos brought to you by Kelsey Construction. Ultra 4s brought to you by Polaris. On the front row, it is Noah Hutchinson in the 03 and Jaden Cassidy in the 27 alongside him. You'll note at the back of the field is Aaron Rodgers, so he's got a little bit of work to do. And just up ahead of him is Carl Reutemann. And Reutemann already jockeying for position. In fact, that is the... yes, that is Carl Reutemann. So he is on right from the very get-go through the Mickey Thompson sweeper and up over the NZ tabletop he goes. Reutemann puts Williams behind him. That's the S80 of Andrew Williams. And already Aaron Rodgers is in the frame as well, so he's had a very, very good start in the first half a lap or so. You ride here with Aaron Rodgers. Just in behind him is Williams, man he's just passed. Here is Reutemann right round the outside, taking slightly different lines, but they're certainly working for him. The EH Motors sponsored Yamaha trying to get up around Williams as well. Dives to the inside as they go through the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. Back on board here with Rodgers, and here is his good mate, the EH Motors sponsored Carl Reutemann, on the scene as well as they go over the Vertex pit jump through the Polaris turn and out onto the Mount Shop straight. This is the race leader though, and I've got a feeling it may be Cam Patton that's got into the front. Then it's the 27 of Jaden Cassidy. Rodgers just running a little bit wide, coming out of the sweeper and up over the NZ tabletop. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Hasn't cost him a position though. You can see that the water truck's been out again, and it's very slippery if you get offline. Graphic example of that coming from Jaden Cassidy as he worked through the Dunlop hairpin. Oh, and a bit of contact there between himself and Carl Reutemann, and Reutemann's come to a stop and he's backed up. Now, this is the $64,000 question, folks. Can he still get from the back to the front? He came to a complete stop after contact, and I think it was with Jaden Cassidy. So it is all to do now for Carl Reutemann. You're back on board here with Aaron Rodgers as he works his way over the Vertex pit jump. Currently sitting up in behind Cassidy now, sitting in third place by the look of it. Coots still out in the front though. There is Reutemann. Now he'll be driving angry, and that's a bad sign for the rest of the field. Side by side as they work their way through the Mickey Thompson sweeper goes Jaden Cassidy and also Aaron Rodgers on board, taking the action from the chase drone of the race leader, and this is Neil Coots. NZ2, he'd like to go one better this season. He is comfortable at the moment as he lines up the Vertex pit jump and the Polaris sweeper. He's got a big lead by the high standards of the UTVs or the side-by-sides. Here comes Reutemann down the inside of Cassidy. This time he makes the pass stick. Up ahead of him it is Dave Templeman by the look of it. Or is it Aaron Rodgers? It may be Aaron Rodgers. We'll have a look when they get a little wee bit closer. Over the Vertex pit jump they come through the Polaris sweeper. On board here with Rodgers. That is Reutemann right behind him. So he's made up the deficit. He came to a complete halt, and now he's going to pass his good mate Aaron Rodgers as they go over the CT Civil finish line. And laps still to run here in heat number 3 of the Ultra 4 and Ultra 4 Turbo UTVs. And the man of the moment, well, he's been the man of the moment every time he's raced here at the Mickey Thompson Tyres and Wheels Stadium off-road track, and that is Carl Reutemann. Can he get up and challenge Neil Coots? That's the big question. Oh, and we've got one over, and that's Alistair Purcell in the U43. By the look of it, he's moving around in the car. That's the good news, but that will bring the race to a premature end, I would think. So welcome back to Manukau, set for a restart now in the third and final heat of the Ultra 4 Turbos, and poor old Neil Coots has seen that lead eaten away. He will lead them round on what will be a single file restart by the look of it. Going with him is Scott Mitchell. Aaron Rodgers is right up there as well, and Reutemann lurking with intent as we get it underway once again. And Mitchell looks for the outside run on Coots as they head up over the NZ tabletop once again. There's Aaron Rodgers, so he's up into third place. I think just ahead of him might be Coots now. No, Coots has got up in front of Mitchell, so then Rodgers starts to put the power on as they head down into the switchbacks once again. On board here with Rodgers. Mitchell has to concede it. He hasn't quite got the power of the Turbo Ultra 4 that Aaron Rodgers has. So Coots stays back in the front. We're on board here with Neil Coots. He's now getting some pressure from Aaron Rodgers. Remember, this is a restart after Alistair Purcell rolled his UTV. So we started all again with a single file restart. Coots in the front, Rodgers in second place. Reutemann's gone round the outside of Mitchell to move up into third now. Rodgers tries to challenge on the outside. Last lap comes out, the white flag out. There is the 75 of Rodgers. Now, can he use the extra power and get up and challenge Coots? Well, Carl Reutemann's used that extra power of the turbo to get right behind Coots. So you're on board here with Reutemann. He's currently slotted himself into second place. Ahead of him, it is Neil Coots. So NZ2 versus NZ1, but not for much longer, because going round the outside as they head down into the switchbacks once again is Carl Reutemann. Can he make the pass stick? Now he changes tack and goes to the inside through the right-hander. They're side by side, wheel to wheel. Coots isn't going to give this up without a fight, and why would you? There's pride on the line here. On the inside line is Coots. Outside of him is Reutemann. Reutemann gets the better of it, maybe a little bit more traction as they head towards the vertex pit jump, and Carl Reutemann goes into the front. Coots in second place, but now he's under pressure from Aaron Rodgers. So these three have cleared away. Around the Polaris sweeping turn they come, and the checkered flag comes out, and it's a clean sweep for Carl Reutemann. He wins overall. He easily wins the Ultra 4 Turbo class. Neil Coots through in second overall, but he wins the Ultra 4s. Heat number 3 for the Thunder Trucks, and off the front it is Chris Trundle. Watch for Sean Dickens at the back there in the Nick Leahy truck. Watch too for Link Widett. Certainly showed that he can put up a performance. Oh, there's an issue here for Nick Hall. And once again, you might be able to blame the water truck for that one. They watered the track just before the start of this. And Nick Hall has understeered into the concrete. Not too sure if there was contact there or not. And Lee Bishop had a moment as well as he goes up over the NZ tabletop. So there's been a change at the front. Link Widett now in the front in the Hot Wheels Toyo Tyres Red Bull. 280 horsepower. Plays 280 horsepower. And round goes Widett, so he's thrown away first place, and that allows Chris Trundle to go into the lead in the Nissan Diesel. Well, I think that's the first time we've said that a diesel would be leading here at Manukau, but that's exactly what's happened as we take the action from the Dunlop Chase drone. First time here at Manukau, and is he going to make it a winner? You're on board here with Sean Dickens. He's got a little bit of work to do. It is Chris Trundle in the front. Dickens through in second place. A recovering Link Widett should be third by the look of it. Up and over the CT Civil jump. No, it's Lee Bishop. So looks like we might have known he's just at the back of the field is Link Widett. There is Nick Hall. He's going again. Now, are we going to see a repeat performance from Nick Hall as we saw from Carl Reutemann? Is he going to be able to go from the very back of the field, stationary at the very back, I should say, and to the front? This is the battle for first, second and third. It is Dickens in the front. Then we go back to Trundle. Then we go back to Lee Bishop. Lee Bishop, his company, CT Civil are sponsoring the Orange National Championship, of which this is round number 1. Just a little bit closer there to Trundle in the diesel Nissan. Out in the front, Dickens continues to pull away through the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks, through the Salem Tyres back straight and out onto the Vertex pit jump. They come. Leahy Civil allows Sean Dickens to have the drive and certainly does a good job of it over the start-finish line, the CT Civil start-finish line. So just gone half distance. Nick Hall's already up into second place, so he has had a blistering lap number 2. He's passed the majority of the field. You're on board here with Lee Bishop, soaring away at the wheel, just getting around Chris Trundle there. So he moves into second place now. Race leader continues to be, make it third place, I beg your pardon, because now Nick Hall is second, and look, he is about to become first, because you're on board here with Sean Dickens. He's the race leader at the moment in the Leahy Civil truck. Here comes Hall though, the Vertex Lubricants truck, working away on Sean Dickens as they work their way down towards the Salem Tyres back straight and onto the Vertex pit jump. On board here with Lee Bishop, currently now sitting a distant third. Hall looks to make the pass through the Polaris sweeper and does so. Now down the Mount Shop front straight he comes, and he is a clear leader. Will he treat the Mickey Thompson sweeper with respect? Yes, he does, and he stays in the front of the field. Lee Bishop gets up over the cushion and virtually flirts with the concrete wall. Meantime, Link Widett goes up the inside of Chris Trundle, and he moves up a spot as well. Well, it's been a slow recovery for Widett, and now Bishop about to put the hurt on Sean Dickens as they come out of the Dunlop hairpin. So this battle on your screen at the moment from the chase drone is second and third. Out in the front it is Nick Hall. Caught as the meat and the sandwich there is Peter Gordon in the sport truck. He's about to be dispatched as well, I would think, as they work through the Salem Tyres back straight onto the Vertex pit straight jump. You're on board here with Lee Bishop. He's got around about 500 horsepower, a little bit less for Peter Gordon in the sport truck, and Bishop makes the pass easily as they come down the Mount Shop straight. Meantime, the race leader is through the Mickey Thompson sweeper, and the white flag is out, so this has been another heroic performance from Nick Hall. He came to a stop in the Mickey Thompson sweeper. The whole field went by, and now he is leading by a commanding margin. We take the drone shot once again as we watch the style of a true champion. Certainly off to the perfect start in round 1 of the CT Civil Orange New Zealand Championship is Nick Hall, working his way through the switchbacks and onto the Salem Tyres back straight now. Checkered flag awaits. Son of a famous father in Kevin, got his start in buggies, then went on to Class 3 buggies, won in those, and has been a winner here at Manukau since day dot. The Vertex Lubricants truck wins it all. In second place it will be Lee Bishop, and in third place I think it'll be Sean Dickens, and that'll be the way they finish. In fourth it'll be Chris Trundle. In the sport truck, Peter Gordon uncontested, and in the exhibition class, Lincoln Widett the same.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, they just put a bit of water down on the track. Straight off the start I had a good start and then hit the wet stuff and just went straight ahead. So yeah, I was about this close from the wall, but we managed to save it and then pulled it back.
Well, one race still to come here at Manukau, and that's the feature. That's next. Welcome back to the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix. So this is the Mickey Thompson Thunder Truck and Pro Buggy feature, and on the front row it is Damon Templeman and Tony McCall. Second row back, it looks like some of the Class 3 cars will identify them for you as they come a bit closer, but we're underway here, and McCall wants to argue about first spot as they work their way into the Mickey Thompson sweeper, as Damon Templeman gets all sorts of sideways and he has thrown away the front running position. Meantime, back in the pack, this is the battle for the trucks. On board here with Lee Bishop, and we have a look at Nick Hall. Chris Trundle getting up very close to the concrete before the CT Civil start line. You're on board here with Widett. already starting to chase Nick Hall in the Vertex truck. And going around the outside of Rumble was Lee Bishop on board here with Bishop. They work their way towards the Dunlop hairpin. Back on board here with Link Widett. Round goes Chris Trundle in the Nissan Diesel. As we're back on board here with Bishop. Remember, it's the Pro 1 class out in the front. This is the battle within the battle, if you like. This is the Thunder Trucks. Bishop, then we go back to Widett, then we go back to Dickens by the look of it. Already out in the front of the trucks is Nick Hall on board here with Lincoln Widett. Now back on board with Lee Bishop. Widett behind him. This is the race leader though, heading through the Polaris sweeper and out onto the Mount Shop straight to complete one lap. And it is Nick Hall. Remember, up ahead of him, it is Danum Templeman and also Tony McCall and a couple of others, Pro 1s. Oh, Widett gets very, very sideways and round he goes again. Well, for the second time, he spins coming out of the Mickey Thompson sweeper. Well, he's got a bit of work to do now, has Link Widett. You're on board here with Tony McCall. He is the race leader heading towards the Vertex pit straight jump. Over the top he goes, gets plenty of air and a little bit of a ragged landing there. Now full on opposite lock as he works his way through the Polaris sweeper. Oh, and the car's turned right on him and he's ripped the left front wheel off it. And that'll be all over for Tony McCall. Well, you just never know. He looked like he was comfortable, but he is anything but. Here it is on the replay, and that's quite an impact, enough to rip the left front wheel off the McCall car, now owned by Cody Harter, of course. Well, Tony said if he wrecked it, he had to fix it, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do. Well, just about set for a restart as the pace truck leads them around. Danum Templeman leading the single file restart. They'll get the green and we'll be underway with the feature event again very, very shortly. And look at Nick Hall just lurking with intent. Lee Bishop in behind him. Then we go back to Lincoln Widett. Then we go back to Sean Dickens. That's what's happening in the trucks. On board here with Lincoln Widett. Just getting around the 178 of Don Atwood by the look of it, the Boomac Racing car, as they work their way into the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks. Widett goes round. Bishop decides not to follow just for the moment. That allows Sean Dickens to close up the gaps as they work through the second of the switchback. This is the 90-degree right-hander. Bishop again pretty sideways. That might allow Atwood to go back into that position as we take the chase drone action. Round the Polaris sweeper goes Danum Templeman. He is a three-time winner of the Woodhill 100. Last win in 2023, and the one before that was over 20 years previous. So it was a long time between drinks for Danum Templeman. As I mentioned, his dad racing here today in the UTV class. Mum is the camp mother around the pits and things. She looks after all the incidentals, so it really is a family affair for the Templemans. Pace Pools are the sponsors and have been for a long, long time. 152 is Brett Vanner about to come under the searing blowtorch of Lincoln Widett. Widett can't find a way round at the moment. Vanner in the Class 1 buggy, Widett in the exhibition class truck. Oh, and once again, just about a bit of contact. So he certainly is aggressive, is young Lincoln Widett. This is Nick Hall, currently sitting in second place. Here is the race leader once again. This is Danum Templeman. Around the Polaris sweeper he goes. This car started life as an Australian desert racing buggy. But in all the outings that Danum has in it, he's pretty successful. This guy's more than pretty successful. He's looking for the clean sweep here today. This is Nick Hall in the Vertex Lubricants truck. Here's Lincoln Widett, so he's got around the 152 of Vanner. As he works his way towards the Dunlop hairpin. And Vanner doesn't seem to have an answer. Widett right up over the cushion, taking the wide line, keeping the momentum up. His truck probably runs around about 280 brake horsepower as opposed to the 600 or 700 of the top Pro 1 class buggies. Salem Tyres bring you the buggies. Here is the lead buggy, and this is Dainham Templeman once again. Well, he's got a pretty healthy lead. He could afford to cruise here. 5 laps is the duration for the heat races, but the feature a little bit bigger than that. He can't afford to cruise too much because lurking in the back, getting close enough to pounce, is Nick Hall. That's first and second. Back on board here with Templeman. See the intricate tear-off system on both the helmets of Templeman and also Dickens. Dickens looking to put the pass on Brett Vanner as well now. Board here with Dickens. Oh, and very, very sideways goes the CT Civil truck of Lee Bishop, and he spins out of contention. He's had a pretty good overall round 1 in the CT Civil New Zealand Off-Roading Championships. Back on board here with Wadette, getting very, very close to the outside of the racetrack. But that's the place he likes to race. He likes to keep the momentum up, keep those revs singing. And that's a hallmark of Mazdas, especially the Mazda rotary under the bonnet of this car. Here is the race leader once more. 6 laps in the book. There is Lincoln Wadette in the Toyo Tyres Red Bull Hot Wheels sponsored truck, originally driven by Link's dad, Mike. Around goes the 152 of Brent Vanner. So he's thrown away a pretty good placing. Just going around the outside of him through the Mickey Thompson sweeper was Lee Bishop. You're back on board with the race leader. And have a look at the track, the black tyre rubber on the track. So it is very dry and very slick at the moment. That is going to kind of negate the horsepower that Dainham Templeman has over Nick Hall. Templeman over the jump once again. The Kelsey Construction jump and into the Mickey Thompson tyres sweeper he goes. Pace Pulls are the sponsor. That's the family business making majestic concrete pulls. And you heard Dainham say in the interview he's got a broken finger on his right hand, so it makes driving the truck a bit of a chore. Wasn't too bad in the heats, he told us, but maybe it's going to be a little bit of an exercise in this, the feature event. The black groove line, easily to see as they go through the switchbacks once again, and Nick Hall is getting closer and closer and closer. Now, it remains to be seen if he can pick up Templeman in the laps remaining. But I think if you put the clock on him, he'd be the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment. Back on board here with Templeman. When we go back, this is Peter Gordon about to be put a lap down by the race leader. He's just being held up a little bit by Gordon, and that allows Hall to get just a little wee bit closer. There he is, up on his outside line, his favourite outside line. See right down the centre of the racetrack now as he heads toward the NZ tabletop. Back on board with the race leader, and if he looked in his mirrors he will see Nick Hall, and Hall is coming. On board here with Nick Hall, looking out the back at Peter Gordon in the sport truck. Looks like Medlock ahead of them. He's about to be put a lap down, and at the moment Dainham Templeman has got him as the block between himself and Nick Hall. Nick Hall in the 861. Oh, having a bit of trouble getting around the... in fact, it's the 178, and that's Don Atwood. Hall having a bit of trouble getting around Atwood. That's going to slow his progress on Dainham Templeman, and Atwood's got it wrong and spins through the Polaris sweeper. Meantime, no sign of the white flag yet, 9 laps in, and Hall continues to get closer. Now, I wonder if Dainham Templeman is getting pit signals, either board or radio, from his pit, just to tell him that he's got to get on with it because Hall is coming. And as I predicted, the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment, not the Pace Pulled Pro 1, but the truck of Nick Hall. Through the switchbacks they go once again. There is Hall. You just see him in the back of the shot. Now the question becomes, can he do it? Can he get close? Can he make the pass? It's one thing to get close, it's another one to make the pass. And with a man with all the experience of Damon Templeman in all sorts of different motor racing, that will be one hard ask. Around the Polaris sweeper they come once again, down the Mount Shop straight. One to go. I think Templeman's got this. I don't know that Nick Hall's got anything in his bag of tricks to stop him. Through the Mickey Thompson sweeper and up over the NZ tabletop they go. There is Hall. Probably only 1.5 seconds in it, but it might be just enough. Out of the Dunlop hairpin they come. You're back on board with the race leader. That is Damon Templeman. Now with Tony McCall out, this is going to give Templeman the lead in the points in the Pro 1s, I would think, because they've shared first and second. Back on board with Templeman. All concentration as he works around the Carlton Party Hire switchbacks for the last time. Onto the Salem tyres back straight. Can't quite see Nick Hall. I think it's Templeman's. There is Hall. He's not going to pick up that amount of advantage in the laps remaining, or the lap, or half a lap, or quarter of a lap remaining. So Damon Templeman is going to pick up the feature win here, the Mickey Thompson feature. In second place it will be Nick Hall. And third across the line will be linked with that. Now let's have a look on the scoreboard. Damon Templeman means he gets the win, and Nick Hall through in second. Well, that wraps up round one of the CT Civil Orange New Zealand Off-Road Racing Championship here at Manukau.